This is Kite Cutter TV with another presentation. We gotta talk about this. Okay, guys, I'm sick and tired of illegal aliens coming to the United States and complaining that we are a racist country and pretty much just bag out Americans as such bad hosts. These people love to complain about the US but still want to live here and probably risk their lives to even get here. If a place is so bad and unwelcoming, mind you that these people don't even consider that they crossed the border illegally, but if a place is so unwelcoming, why in the world would you want to stay in that country? These people, mainly men, are cowards that wouldn't even stand up to their own country's corruption, but want to illegally come to the US, then complain about our laws or claim we are racist? Just doesn't make sense. You're going to see what I'm talking about later in this video with a DACA dude that has no appreciation for our great country. We got a few more topics to dive into, like why in the world would a judge release an illegal immigrant smuggler back on the streets without even placing a bond, as if he's really going to show up for court. More stash houses are being found and ICE detainees still on a hunger strike, plus more. Check this out.
Also right now at 5, he is from out of state and accused of human trafficking in Houston. But tonight we have confirmed that suspect was not required to put up a cash bond, ensuring he would stay in town and appear in court.
That man has now been released. He's accused of housing at least 6 young men inside of an apartment in Southwest Houston. Senior reporter Phil Archer has new information. He's live outside the complex on Fondren near West Belfort. Phil.
And that's right. Police raided an apartment here yesterday and broke up what they said was a human smuggling operation, rescuing 6 victims and arresting the man who was allegedly holding them. But now he's back on the street, and police are afraid he may be gone for good. When Homeland Security agents and Houston police raided the apartment, they rescued 6 naked adults who were being held there and arrested 50-year-old Jorge Antonio Chavez for human trafficking. But Chavez wasn't in jail for long. At his probable cause hearing this morning, the prosecutor asked for a high cash bond, $25,000.
I have concerns that he will not return to court. This is a felony offense.
But the PC court hearing officer, Leonel Castro, decided to release Chavez on a personal recognizance bond instead, which didn't require him to post any bail money.
I don't see any significant criminal history. I do see that you are employed. So I'm going to set your bond in the amount of $5,000, and I will grant you a personal bond on this charge.
Chavez is due back in court Wednesday, but Houston Police Union Executive Director Ray Hunt says it isn't likely he'll show up.
It really means just a get out of jail free card. He walked out of jail with absolutely no money whatsoever. He's probably not going to come back.
Assistant DA Jonna Stallings says a high bond was and is needed in the case to ensure Chavez doesn't flee and to ensure the victims are protected.
I don't think it's appropriate that a personal bond would be granted in this case. This kind of bond or lack of one doesn't help encourage, our victims to operate and come forward.
Stallings says prosecutors will ask to raise Chavez's bond to $50,000 at Wednesday's hearing. The question is, will it matter? We tried to contact Mr. Castro for his comment on this story. He has not yet returned our call. Reporting live in Southwest Houston, I'm Phil Archer, KPRC Channel 2 News.
Out of a traffic stop that led to the discovery of a stash house in the valley, agents say at an immigration stop on the 8 near Ocotillo, a driver from the U.S. was stopped and had 4 undocumented immigrants inside. Well, authorities say information obtained after their arrest led to a mobile home where 21 more people were being held. After being processed, though, they were brought back to Mexico.
The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office revealed how often it worked with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, in 2019. Fox 11's Karen Cruz-Orduña found out what it means for immigrant advocates and for deputies.
New numbers show how often the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office is working with ICE, leading to deportations.
We don't need to keep separating families here in our community.
Sheriff Bill Brown told the Board of Supervisors Tuesday afternoon ICE requested to meet with more undocumented immigrants in 2019 than 2018.
We saw an 8% increase in the number of requests from ICE, from 414 to 448.
108 of those meetings were granted, and 38 people were ultimately sent to ICE and deported.
38 such arrests made, and the majority of those, as you can see from the second column, the majority of those inmates were habitual offenders.
The sheriff says those deported last year were accused of crimes like stalking, kidnapping, and more.
The notion that we're turning a lot of people over to ICE for minor violations is just not true, because those people are not in our jail to begin with any longer.
He did not reveal what the other people who spoke to ICE were accused of, so supervisors asked for that to be made public.
So my first request is just maybe to provide the same kind of list for all 108, just so that we know, which ones you're willing to, hand out or notify ICE.
In the meantime, immigration advocates want deputies to stop working with ICE.
We want to stop ICE transfers here from Santa Barbara County jails, because there is no reason to separate families when they are paying for something that they did here locally.
In Santa Maria, Karen Cruz Orduña, Fox 11 News.
Today marks the 25th day that those ICE detainees have participated in that hunger strike here at the Bergen County Jail behind me, and we can confirm that currently there are 6 of those ICE detainees that are participating in that hunger strike. Dozens of activists, some of them who are here today from at least 4 different organizations who I spoke with, who have spent almost every day protesting outside the jail for 2 weeks in support of the detainees.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
We're out here to show solidarity first and foremost with the for those incarcerated, and second, we're here to show really try to represent on the outside their demands. We want their release. They want their release.
And we know that this location is very crucial because their windows are right behind us. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. The goal is always to make sure hopefully that they are able to hear us on the inside.
How long have they been in there?
Some of them have been there for over 2 months in Bergen County Jail, but some of them were transferred from Essex. One of them has been in detention for over 2 years, just waiting for his case to be resolved.
They're fainting in there. We've got phone calls from the people inside telling us what happened, and while they're talking to us on the phone, we have it on the mic so we could all hear, and they're giving us directly what's happening in there. So they're not giving medical attention, and it's just a dire situation. These people are willing to die instead of staying in there under these conditions.
These guys, many of them, if not all, have medical issues that they want treated on the outside. So at least one of them got a letter from ICE saying, we won't even consider you for this review for release unless you start eating. And at least one of them then started eating and then found out in short order, maybe a half hour later, that he was then denied for release under this decision because they have not been charged with, they're not being punished for a crime. They haven't been convicted of anything. They are charged with what amounts to administrative or misdemeanor, which is immigration violation.
If hunger on days and days is better than what they're going through in there, I mean, it just means that they need to be freed. Not just those people that are hunger striking, but everybody in that prison needs to have either better conditions or needs to be out in the streets with us.
Activists are now hoping that those ICE detainees can hear them from those windows there, which have been blocked off. Many of the activists now fear that detainees could die if the strike doesn't end soon. Activists say they'll continue to protest until the hunger strike ends and prisoners are released. We have reached out to the Bergen County Sheriff, but have yet to hear back from him. For NJ Spotlight News, I'm Raven Santana.
Earning a seat at the table. I'm Vic Nguyen in Santa Ana, where a resident here has joined the city's Measure X Citizen Oversight Committee. Except on paper, he's not listed as a citizen. Carlos Pereira puts himself at risk every day since he's come out as an undocumented and unafraid immigrant.
Just because we're in this country undocumented, it doesn't mean that we don't have civil rights. It doesn't mean that we don't have human rights.
Carlos is a DACA recipient. He crossed the U.S.-Mexico border when he was 14 years old to reunite with his mother. DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, an Obama-era program that has been on President Donald Trump's list to cut. The program grants recipients temporary stays and protection from deportation.
That a country that calls itself democratic and prides itself of freedom, it treats human beings as if they were second-class citizens.
Carlos says he became an activist after meeting people who are fighting for immigrant rights in Orange County. Sometimes that meant standing up to local leaders and law enforcement. While Carlos's activism days are far from over, he's now speaking to Santa Ana's police chief in a different setting. In this clip, you can hear Carlos addressing the chief during a commission meeting about how the sales tax would impact police services.
How are you? Good. Thank you for your time and for all the information that you have provided to the committee.
A city council member appointed the 28-year-old to the Measure X Citizen Oversight Commission during the COVID-19 pandemic. The commission meets quarterly to review the millions of dollars generated by the high sales tax in Santa Ana.
It comes down to about the tax revenue. There has to be accountability and oversight and recommendations to city council in terms of how they're spending that money.
The sales tax is collected by citizens and non-citizens alike. The money goes to the city's general fund. About 46% of Santa Ana's population are made up of immigrants. 102,000 of them are considered non-citizens and are potentially at risk of deportation.
We live here, even though we are undocumented, we pay taxes, but also we contribute every day to this community.
With DACA protecting Carlos from deportation, the city commissioner hopes to use his position to make sure the money coming into the city will be accounted for and will be distributed and used to benefit everyone in the community, whether they're a citizen or not.
Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, God bless. Peace.